and welcome to Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I'm your host, Beth, and I'm an ordinary person amazed by the extraordinary people surrounding us. This podcast is about people who live among us who are doing extraordinary things. You can expect to meet people from all walks of life doing things that may inspire you, make you want to change, or just simply sit back and delight in their stories. I have met the most extraordinary people in my ordinary world, and I am so grateful to have the opportunity to share their stories. Now listen in and enjoy. Your inspiration may be right here in this episode. Welcome to July's edition of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I'm going to begin by introducing my guest and how I met her. Today, we're going to meet Amanda Lippincott, and I met Amanda through her mother-in-law, who's a really good friend of mine from work. Amanda, her name was brought to me a while back because MJ, which is my friend, her mother-in-law, just adores her and really thought she had a story to tell. And I agree. And today we're going to have that opportunity to meet Amanda and hear her story. So Amanda's life changed when she was diagnosed with scleroderma, a rare autoimmune disease that affects far more people than we realize. Rather than let that diagnosis define who she was, she became a source of strength for others by leading support groups and helping others navigate one of the hardest journeys of their life. In this episode, we're going to talk to Amanda about what it's really like living with scleroderma, the challenge of balancing motherhood with a chronic illness, and how community can transform even the hardest seasons. Whether you're personally affected by scleroderma or simply want to hear an inspiring story of resilience, I know you're going to want to tune in today. We'll also have the opportunity to hear about some fundraising that Amanda is doing for the Scleroderma Foundation. It's the foundation, right, Amanda?
Yes.
National Foundation, with the generous donations of King's Gambit in Belvedere, New Jersey. But let's get started talking to Amanda and how everything began. So, hi, Amanda, and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to have you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share my
I was hoping you could start off maybe by telling us a little bit about scleroderma and what life was like prior to that diagnosis, because not that many people are familiar with scleroderma.
Yeah, when my doctor told me that I had scleroderma, I did not know what it was. I didn't know how to say it. I had never heard of it before. So scleroderma is a rare autoimmune disease, and it can affect every part of your body because it affects the collagen. So if you think of like your skin is made of collagen, which is why our skin gets really hard, and it gets really hard for us to move our fingers and our joints. It can affect your heart. It can affect your lungs, basically every part of your body. It can infiltrate, and our system makes too much collagen. So basically, scleroderma means hard skin, and that's it's hardening everything. So it makes it really hard for the heart to pump blood. It makes it hard for the lungs to expand, and it just makes everything hard.
Can it affect every organ, the heart? I mean, aside
Yes.
from the heart, you just said, but like kidneys, bowels, all of that.
Yep. Everything can get affected. I have a lot of friends who I know who have had like lung transplants, and they went into sepsis. So like their like kidneys, and a lot of people have had to have feeding tubes or some sort of supplemental way because they can't actually swallow their esophagus, their GI tract. Some people have had to have like their GI tract, like the other side, like it just it can really affect. Yeah, it can really affect every part. A lot of mobility issues as well because it affects our joints. So a lot of people have trouble getting up. With the scleroderma, one of the big symptoms, like a symptom before the scleroderma, is a phenomenon called Raynaud's, which is when the like your extremities don't get enough blood oxygen, so they turn different colors. Usually it goes to white and then red or blue. And so that's usually the first sign that someone has some sort of autoimmune disease
Can I ask you
similar.
a question and interrupt?
Sure,
I'm sorry, but
of
you
course.
said when you were told that you had scleroderma, did you know you were being tested for it? And what actually brought you to the physician?
Yeah, so I think that's like this is the second part of what you're asking is like what was
Okay,
my life before? So I'm happy to answer like kind of that all together.
excellent.
So before I was diagnosed in 2019. I obviously had met Ed and who's MJ's son, and we had gotten engaged, we were going to get married. I ended up having the gastric sleeve surgery because I was having some other health issues and they thought that this was the best. I've been trying to lose weight my whole life.
Hmm.
So I had the sleeve surgery done in 2018. And at that time, I could always fit my engagement ring on my finger. Even at my heaviest weight, which was close to like 400 pounds, it always fit. And even in like the dead heat of summer. So in 2019, in May, I went to go put on my engagement ring and it wouldn't fit over my second knuckle. And everyone I talked to, I told my mom, I told Ed, and they're like, you're crazy. This is like, it's summer swelling. You got bit by a bug. It's not, like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, something is like absolutely wrong. Like, it started with the swelling of my fingers. And again, like, it was the best way for me to describe it is I felt like a 98-year-old woman stuck in a 28-year-old body. I couldn't get out of bed. My joints hurt. I felt like my skin was getting really like if I closed my hands tight enough, my fingers were going to burst open. So I went to my primary care doctor, and I've seen this doctor for a very, very long time. He has seen me through many seasons of my life. When I went in, he told me that I need to go to a rheumatologist. He actually called the rheumatologist and told them that I was coming in to get me into an appointment because most times you wait 6 months to get in for a specialist.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, I went in May. My first appointment was in June. I went to him every 2 weeks and I knew he was testing me for something. I didn't know what. He wasn't really explaining what he was testing for. He tried to put me on steroids. The steroids didn't take anything away. Then he did some blood tests, and the blood tests that he didn't show anything. So August 5th was the day I was diagnosed, and my mom was with me. And it's a day that I will absolutely never forget. I will never forget how I felt that day. We walked in, and my mom and I were both like, if this guy can't get us answers, we've been here every 2 weeks. Like, if he doesn't know what's going on, we're going to someone else. Like, we're taking my medical records, we're going somewhere else. And he came in, he closed the door, and just the way that he closed it, like, I knew he knew two things. He knew what it was, and that it was something really bad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to say something like lupus, and not that lupus is very well known. It's similar to scleroderma, but I at least knew of it because of Selena Gomez. So I was like, oh, like, I
Okay.
have something similar. Like, okay, like, I kind of know what it is. And he told me about scleroderma, that it's a rare autoimmune disease and that there is no cure, that they can only alleviate the symptoms. And my heart broke. I went out of that appointment and I cried. I cried in the car I couldn't even drive home. My mom had to drive me. It was the most devastating day of my life because I felt like I was getting my life together. Like I was just
Hmm.
starting, like I had this vision, like I was going to get married to Ed and we were going to have the 2 kids and the dog and the house. And I was going to be able to climb the corporate ladder and, be able to have everything that I wanted. And it felt like I had my world crash down around me.
Well, it's a loss for sure. I mean, you right at
Yeah.
that point, you have no idea what's going to happen. You're still just soaking it all in and learning about it. But it is a loss. So you say, well, what's going to happen to my life now? That's totally understandable, all those feelings.
Yeah. And so I've been diagnosed about 7 years. 7 years ago online, if you looked up scleroderma, it was not great. A lot of it was that you had 5 years, 10 years to live. It really, the information that was out there has been a lot of new information that's come out. And I've talked to a lot of young adults who have had this for a very long time. But
Okay.
again, they don't know like what causes it. So most time it's mostly women who get it. Some men can have it as well, but usually after like childbirth or a really big dramatic event, like that's what like kind of brings it on. And there are two paths that scleroderma can take. One, it's called diffuse, which is what I have, which is very fast.
Okay.
Basically, in the first 5 years, that is when you're going to have the most of your symptoms, the most severe of your symptoms. And then after the 5 years, it kind of plateaus.
Okay.
And so knowing that I had the worst kind, like I didn't know how much it had affected me. It went from my fingertips, all like the skin tightening went from my fingertips all the way up to my shoulders in from May to August. So that's a very quick amount of time. So I didn't know if it affected my heart or my lungs. So they put me on medication to keep that, like thankfully it didn't affect my heart or my lungs or any other internal organs. So now I'm on medication to kind of keep that the same. So it's
Okay.
only been skin involvement for me. But the other is limited. And I'm only just saying that just because there's two.
Yeah.
So you can have limited for 10, 20 years, and it's a very slow progression. It might start with Raynaud's. It might start with a little bit of skin tightening, but not a lot, or swelling or some joint pain. And then by the time that it gets to that like 10, 20, like it's a very, very slow climb. But by the time that you get to that like end, like, where they say, oh, this is scleroderma. Oh my gosh, you've had it for so long. That's when a lot of like the issues can come up. It is mostly skin for limited, but there have been, some people who have had internal involvement. So
Hmm.
it's a very hard disease to diagnose. Most people, it takes a year to 2 years to get diagnosed. So I was very, very lucky that I got diagnosed in like 3 months.
Mm.
It was a very hard 3 months, but I was very, very happy and I'm so thankful that I was able to get the diagnosis.
That was prior
Even
to you getting married.
that, yes, it was. So
Okay.
I got married in December of 2019, and it was hard. It was hard because I had to talk to Ed and be like, I'm going to be sick for the rest of our life together. Like, there is no
Mm.
getting better. There is no cure. There is no, maybe one day we'll see a cure. But as of now, like, you are going to be do you want to be with me and take care
Oh.
of me? Like, it's like, there is a possibility that things
Mm.
could go really south. Like, you will have to, at some point, be my caregiver. And he's obviously stuck by me. He's a wonderful guy. I can't say
Well,
enough wonderful things about him. Yes.
knowing his parents, I assumed he would.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
That's good though. I mean, such a spectrum that you talk about, like from skin to involving all your organs. So it's always that worry of where you're at and what's going to happen next. Let's think about this. So after you're diagnosed, you know all this that can happen. You get married, you start the medications. Was there like one medication? Is it something you take daily? Is it like more of a treatment that you have to go to do? And how has that changed since the beginning?
So I am on three medications well, yeah, I'm on three medications for scleroderma right now. One of it is a very low dose, like cancer treatment.
Okay.
It's It lowers my immune system, so that way it's not fighting against each other. It helps with the skin. It helps protect my internal organs. But it does I do have to be very cautious. So when I got diagnosed, it was right before the pandemic, which was extremely scary for me because anything could have gotten me sick and I could have really, really gotten sick, especially on this medication. So I'm still on that medication today. It's worked very, very well for me. I did have to go off of it when I decided to have my daughter. So that is also a different like story is that most people have their children. Most people are parents or grandparents when they find out that they have scleroderma. I had found out when I was 28 and I was like, oh, we're going to have kids and this is going to be great. And then I had
Mm.
to talk with Ed about we had to put off our plans of having children. And I had to go to my doctors and make sure that I was cleared for that. I had to get off of my medication because it is very, very toxic. So if I have if I get pregnant on it, basically like, most times the baby's not going to survive. And if the
Mhm.
baby does survive, there's a very high chance that they will have some sort of deformity.
Okay.
That's like how toxic and like it has to get out of my system fully for me to even begin trying. So it was a big decision to go on medication that strong and
Yeah.
then to get off of it to have a child and then I had went back on it after my daughters.
Aside from going off the medication, though, is there a risk to you of further having involvement of organs or anything with the scleroderma? So now you're pregnant, and that obviously is, it's a tough on your body. So does that change scleroderma for you or no?
So get it. So I had the best pregnancy. I was like the happiest pregnant woman because I had no pain. My scleroderma actually went into remission when I was pregnant.
That's
So
great.
everything was like leading up to getting pregnant. It took me about a year and my skin, it took a lot longer this time, but it went from my fingertips, it was up to my shoulders,
Hmm.
my trunk, my like stomach area, and my chest was all tight. It started to tighten. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, and all of that kind of went away. And so she actually, because my immune system was supporting her as well, it like lessened like it fighting against me. So there's like three possibilities. So you don't really know.
Okay.
It could do what it did for me and it actually makes your symptoms better. It could make your symptoms worse, or you can kind of have everything stay the same. So I had gotten better with having my daughter. After I had her, though, I didn't go on the medication right away, and I really should have. I tried to. She was born really small. She was born at 4 pounds, 13 ounces, and they don't know, but she was full term. She was just
Okay.
really, really tiny. And they don't know if that was like related to the scleroderma or if it was that something else. Like they really don't know. They think it's related to the scleroderma.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to try pumping. I'm going to try to keep my immune system down. And because I was so exhausted, I couldn't get a supply. I
Hmm.
couldn't keep up with her. So then by December, I had her in September. By December, I went back on my medication. But in that time, I have from then noticed some other symptoms that have come up. So now I was diagnosed with two additional things. I was diagnosed with anemia and orthostatic hypotension. Um, I do have to get the iron infusions. My iron was so low that it actually he was like, this is the lowest number lowest ferritin I've seen in a long time. So it just depleted my body. My fingers have started to contract a little bit. My because of the
By
anemia.
contracting, just for people who might not know,
Yes.
it's be able to you're fully extend the way you want to extend your fingers.
Yes.
And can
Yeah.
I just clarify something else? So
Sure.
how old is your daughter?
My daughter's going to be 4 in September.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
So initially you had a remission and then
Yes.
you started to get these other things. About how long ago was that?
So the end of 2024 is when I started seeing these new symptoms pop up. I was on the
Okay.
medication. So I went back on the medication at the end of 2022. And so I'm still seeing the effects
Mhm.
of being off the medication for almost 2 years, even into 2020. You know, 2023, I didn't really see them. 24 is when I started to really see that it
Mhm.
was ramping up. And then basically all 2025 was me getting diagnosed and trying to get these symptoms under control. But I also have like my bones are in my fingers are actually kind of like absorbing back into my body. So my thumb is actually short, like my thumbs are not the same length anymore. And I have like bulging of my fingertips because of the anemia and the Raynaud's. It can't get enough oxygen to my fingers. So they're
Wow.
like bulging and kind of like my fingernails are curling. So it is like a lot of it is externally facing, which I am so thankful for, but it also is very hard because physically, like it's not like doesn't look like my hands anymore. My
Yeah.
face doesn't look like my face anymore. So it's hard to it's this disease can change. Like it
Right.
changes like I feel like every time something new comes up and I was like, oh, okay, like now I have to deal with this as well. Like it's
Right.
not I just got my diagnosis and that's it. Like I just go on medicine and I'm done. Like I go every 6 months, I have to get a pulmonary function test, which tests my lung capacity.
Okay.
I go every year for an echo of my heart. Sometimes I have to go for CT scans of my lungs. So on top of all the other, all the other visits I have to do, which
Yeah.
is, oncologist for the anemia. I go to a gastric doctor just to make sure everything's okay there. So like I go to a ton of doctors.
Yeah. And so many unknowns and so many like tests and wait. And that's anxiety producing.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, that's a lot. Like some people have to have a test to make sure they don't have something going on. You have to have multiple tests multiple times a year and wait for those results.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
hard. That's a lot of stress in one person's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be really, you kind of at this point I'm like, okay, what is it going to be? Like what's it
Hmm.
now? Like it's I'm almost like waiting for it's terrible to think of it that way, but it's like I already have scleroderma and I know that when you have an autoimmune disease, you are more likely to have more than one,
Hmm.
especially with scleroderma. So it is hard to like be positive about things, but when the new symptom comes up, it's just so like disheartening. It's like I don't want to go to another doctor. I don't want to
Yeah.
have to go. Like I already go to enough. Like do it
Right.
like why
Right.
can't I just like have a
Hmm.
break? But you never really get a break. You never really get a like I'm always at the doctor. I'm always getting blood work done. I'm, on top of like working full time and
That's what I
being
was
a
going to
mom.
ask. Are you
Yeah.
able to still work
Yes. So
and be a mom? That's a lot.
yeah, yeah, I work full time. I work in the pharmaceutical industry as a grant manager.
Okay.
It's I used to work in publishing and publishing was extremely it wasn't very I loved the world. I love publishing. I love books,
Hmm.
but it was not great for my health or my mental health. It was very fast paced. This is a little bit slower paced. It's basically I'm helping the pharmaceutical company to hand out like money for people to do independent medical education. So I'm helping.
Okay.
It's not for scleroderma. I wish I could,
Yeah.
but it's for other diseases. So I'm like, you know what? That's still, it's still
Still
helping people.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's, but the deadlines are not like I used to have. Like I used to be working till 9 o'clock at night because I had a deadline at the next day,
Yeah.
and now it's like at 5 o'clock I'm done. Like I can just everything I can do the next day. There's no like very hard deadlines.
And I think sometimes, and I don't have a chronic illness, so I'm just speaking from people I've spoken to before. I think sometimes that puts your life into perspective and puts your priorities into perspective. What's real important to me and what do I really need now?
Yes, exactly. I
Yeah.
I had talked about like, I wanted this perfect life. I wanted the, kid, now I'm like I'm happy. I'm happy with my job. I do my job. I'm able to do my job. I'm still able to work. I have an amazing husband. I have an amazing daughter. My family and friends are so incredibly supportive. I don't need to chase money. I'd be
Yeah.
happy doing this and for me right now like advocacy is so much more important because I don't want anyone to feel how I felt when I got diagnosed. I want people to know that there are people out there who, we doing support groups. We have a conference, the National Scleroderma has a conference coming up. Like being able to connect with other people is truly what saved me when I was at my lowest point.
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Calm Creations. If you like relaxing by the warm glow of a candle with the scent that brings back memories, I've got the perfect candle company for you. Calm Creations, based in New Jersey, makes high-quality, beautifully scented candles, and 10% of their profits go to benefit nonprofit organizations. Check out their amazing selection at calmcreations.com. And thank you for being a sponsor of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World.
I think that's a good time to maybe tell us a little bit about the National Scleroderma Foundation, your role, because you have a pretty important role there, vice chair of the
Yes.
foundation, and you do some fundraising for them. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that, how you got started in there. Like, were you just looking for answers, and then you're like, I got to do more than find answers. I want to help people. How did this all come to be?
Yeah. So after diagnosis, I went into a very deep depression with the pandemic and everything going on. I was so sad and so angry just at the world because like why do this? I was so like I was ready for my life to begin. Like I was so
Yeah.
like I was almost there, and then like this news came and I was so upset. Like I just curled into myself and like I didn't really want to talk to anyone about it. And
Mm,
if I felt like if I pushed it down, pushed it down, pushed it down, it would go away. And it
mm,
didn't. It never does.
no.
So I'd started therapy, and my therapist suggested that I go to a support group. So I reached out and I went to a support group. It was online, so it was great that I could like meet people. I was really nervous about it, and I obviously didn't know what to expect. So when I went there, but they were the nicest people. They were so welcoming. The biggest problem was is that they were all in their 70s and 80s. So they had these beautiful lives, and like they were talking about their grandkids and like being on social security or disability, and like they don't need to work. They don't have to work, They for me, I was just getting started in my career. I was just getting started, wanting to have a family, and I felt like everything was just ripped away. And then you see these people who are in their 70s and 80s, and it was hard for me to like, why so young? Like, why couldn't I have gone? Like, not even why could I
Yeah.
have gotten? Like, why now? Like, why now
Hmm.
in my life? And that's what pushed me to start a young adult support group.
That's
So
great.
yeah, so I started a support group. It was very small, and then my friend I got really, really close with, she had a young adult support group and asked me, and I have a co-leader. Her name's Tiari, who's from Hawaii, so it can like affect everyone anywhere.
Uh-huh.
But
You have any
she,
international members or no?
yeah,
You
there are a
do?
couple from Canada, from England. There was a girl who came who was from Portugal. So it was
Amazing.
really interesting because our healthcare is so different. So we would talk
Hmm.
a lot about like she didn't know what to ask or what she should be looking for. But yeah, so I ended up, and so now I'm a co-leader for the young adult support group. My little support group kind of got merged into it, which was fine because
Okay.
it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work to run a support group.
Sure.
Then they started a patient advisory board. So I actually I still do support groups, but I started getting involved in the patient advisory board, which just advises the board on what patients are looking for. So what
Okay.
programming, what opportunities, like what do we want to see at our national conference, things like that, where we're talking with with people who have scleroderma and then reporting back to the foundation. And then last year, I was appointed to the board, so the board of directors. And then this year, I put my name in to be vice chair, and they approved it. So, but I've been working with the foundation pretty much since 2021. I've been speaking at conference. I was like I did their awards luncheon last year, so I just for me in my darkest time, finding the National Scleroderma Foundation was like a shining light because
Yeah.
it connected me to other people. It also connected me to people who like even though they don't have the disease, like they are just the kindest people. Like the
Mm.
whole, like all the people who work at the foundation are absolutely spectacular. So it was for me so nice to have a support system in that. And so getting to fundraising, so my husband actually, because of everything that I do in the foundation, he was inspired to become a co-leader of the caregiver support group. And so he wanted to get more involved. And we are running a fundraiser with King's Gambit. We love their coffee. We go every week,
Mhm.
if not more than once a week. And so if you purchase a bag, there's specific bags of coffee, but if you purchase a bag of coffee or tea through Ed or myself, the foundation will get a portion of those sales. So yeah, we're really excited for it. We are hoping to get a pretty nice donation, but it's coming up on, July. So I think we're able to extend it to the middle of July, end of
Okay.
July. So
So you have a link, a specific link that people can click on to order that coffee or tea, correct?
I believe so.
So what we'll do is we'll put something in the show notes so that people, if they want to, they can help support that cause as well as
That'd be
get
great.
good coffee.
Yes,
Because
it
I've
is.
gone to King's Gambit. It's very good. They roast everything right there, right? They do their
It's
own beans
amazing.
and everything.
Yes.
So I would love to help maybe get some sales here too. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. And you can have the coffee, like so when we order everything, so we're going to order it all at once. If you're local, we can deliver it to you. If
Okay.
not, then we'll ship it.
Okay.
So we're very excited.
Yeah.
Their coffee is amazing.
That's great. I love that. I gotta say, I also love, I got a little emotional when you started talking about Ed being like a co-support for caregivers. That's something because not all men can do that.
He's he's truly one of a kind. I am the luckiest person.
Yeah.
He's so supportive. He supports me. It's really, we talk about this a lot because a lot of people who have scleroderma have a caregiver, and he's like, you don't
Hmm.
need me to take care of you. He's like, you need me here for support. He's like, I'm more of a support person. But me getting involved actually inspired him to get involved. And
Aw,
so, scleroderma is always going to be a part of our life.
yes.
It's always going to be there. And so I think how we cope with it and how we have like understood it and like we're able to, keep a positive outlook is by helping other people. Cause that's
Yeah.
really at the end of, for me, I'm very lucky, and
Hmm.
if I can help someone else get a diagnosis earlier, that's to me, that's the most important work I can do.
Yeah. I don't want to forget about Charlotte. How did she change
Yes.
your outlook to about having scleroderma? Because you were taking care of yourself, and now you
Yes.
have this little baby that is your life also. How did that change after you gave birth?
It has been hard being, it's It's hard in a lot of ways. Charlotte is not hard herself. She is
Mhm.
wonderful and I love her.
She's beautiful.
She's she's really the most amazing kid. But it was hard because I put a lot of pressure on myself to be a good
Mhm.
mom, and I was still working, so I was still working after my maternity leave ended, I went back to work. So it was really hard for me because you see, like, especially with this age of social media, like all people who had babies around the same time. And I
Mm.
felt like I couldn't keep up. I felt like I actually went, I obviously had depression before and I didn't take medication for it, but I had a lot of anxiety having Charlotte after a lot of postpartum anxiety. And I am on medication now to help with that, but a lot of it was because she was born so small.
Mhm.
I had to have an emergency C-section, and she spent 5 or 6 days in the NICU,
Oh,
because she was so tiny. So I think a lot of it stems from me just trying to make sure that she was okay. On top of everything, like my outlook is now like I want to take care of my daughter first, but I also have to take care of myself too. And that's been really,
Yes.
really hard to learn.
Mhm. But you have a
It,
partner. I mean,
I
you have
do.
a husband who's there and letting
He's,
you take care of yourself and your baby at
yes,
the same
yes.
time. So that's
And
great.
yeah, and he does. There will be days when I'm like, "Oh, I'm just having like a very low like energy day. Like I
Mhm.
can't, my fatigue is through the roof." And he was able to help, and like he is able to help and like pick up the slack. Like there were
Mm.
times in like the middle of the night when I'm like, I cannot get up. He'd like, you know, feed the baby, change and burp the baby. Like he was absolutely wonderful. But I think like we knew before I had this, there he knew that he was going to have to step up. He knew before I had
Right.
Charlotte that it could not all be on me.
Mhm.
And he's wonderful about that. He's wonderful. Even, now he'll play with her and then he'll like try to get her energy out or take her out somewhere if I like need a
Mhm.
minute. So we have a very, very good partnership, and I'm so, so lucky.
Yeah. I mean, I'm listening to you. You want to be a good mom. You want to be a good wife. You want to, help and support the foundation itself. And I think you're doing all those things. As far as the foundation and what you do for them, I think we all have like a greater purpose in life. And I think you got that purpose aside from being a mom. I mean, you're doing a lot of good things for a lot of people. So I would say maybe that's some of the good that came out of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to look and see all the what ifs and the negatives and oh my gosh, like this is the rest of my life. But Ed likes to say that I don't live with scleroderma. Scleroderma has to live with me.
Hmm.
I don't. It doesn't define me, and the fact that I like do all this stuff for the foundation, that is my choice. It is not,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it because like even if I didn't have scleroderma, like I love giving back. Like it's just something that I've always done, even in college, like doing like relays for life. Like it's just
Hmm.
something that I think my parents instilled in me of like giving back to my community. And so this community that has helped me so much, I'm so, so lucky that I am able to give back. So I do think that I have found my purpose in advocating for the
Yes.
scleroderma community. It's not not the way that it was definitely it was hard. It was definitely hard to come to that realization. But I think now having Charlotte, and we're going to the national conference this year,
Okay.
which is in Baltimore. And so because we talk about it, we talk that I have it, she has now like learned to say scleroderma. And it's a hard word. It's hard for me to say. And I sent a video to the foundation. I was like, you need to get Charlotte to do like a tutorial for you guys. Cause I'm sitting here cracking up because she like almost 4-year-old knows how to say this word. She's like, she says it better than some people I interview for like jobs. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so,
That's something.
but that's, it's not like a taboo subject. We like talk about it very openly. And I think that that's where, you know, which I'm not going to hide it from her. I'm not
Right.
going to say, oh, like if I'm like mom's fingers don't work. Like I can't open that. Like they're just like
Right.
my fingers will not do that. And she like understands that. She goes asks Ed to
Yeah.
help her. So for me, it's just become a part of my life, and I hope that one day we can find a cure for it. But until then, I'm just so happy. I'm happy
Mm.
to advocate for other people.
Well, I think if there was miraculously a cure tomorrow and everybody was cured, I think you'd find something else to put your energy into that would help people.
I'm
And
sure.
as far as Charlotte's concerned, I think you're teaching her a ton of empathy and to relate to people and to be open-hearted to them as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, if you could speak to yourself on the day you were diagnosed, what would you say looking back?
That's a really hard one. I'm actually like getting teary-eyed like thinking about it because I think I would tell myself not to Google the disease. That's like number one.
Chat GPT now, right?
Yeah, no, don't even look it up. It's not worth the headache. But I think I would tell my past self that even though it's not exactly the way I thought life was going to look, that the journey is hard, but where we are now is just so beautiful. And I'm so much more sure of myself now. And I'm so much more confident in who I am that even though this really terrible disease has happened, I have taken that and that you will take that and make it into something positive. And I think that that's what I would tell myself, because I think that that's what I would need to hear.
I think that's a beautiful way to end it. I mean, I can just tell you just exude like positivity, even though you know there's these things that still can happen. And you deal with things in such a good way. You're ready to roll with the punches. You're ready to make sure that your daughter understands. And you're doing so many great things for so many people.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on here to, talk about my story. And this is just truly phenomenal to be able to talk to you.
I'm so happy to have you. So as we wrap up, I am hoping everybody gained a better understanding of what life with scleroderma truly looks like, not just the medical diagnosis, but the strength, the courage, the perseverance, and the hope that it takes, and how you can take something that's just not the greatest thing in your life and make it a positive like you have. I want to thank you for sharing your story so openly and for the incredible work you do supporting others, the support group, being the vice chair of the National Scleroderma Foundation. Your willingness to take the challenge that you were given in life and bring encouragement to others is what this podcast is all about. Extraordinary people like you. So to our listeners, if today's conversation touched your heart, please consider this episode and sharing it with others, not just to share with others, but to raise awareness, to get a greater understanding, and to know what it's like to be a supportive person and out there for others. For those who live in Warren County, New Jersey, don't forget to support the fundraiser generously hosted by King's Gambit in Belvedere. And I will put a link in the bio as well. I'll also put a link to the Scleroderma Foundation too. Once again, Amanda, thank you for being July's extraordinary person. And I'm so glad to have had you on the show. And you know what? Your mother-in-law made me the right recommendation. Thanks to MJ.
Yes, thanks, MJ.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please share with a friend. If you know an extraordinary person, I would love to hear from you so that I can feature them on the show. Please email me at bethextraordinarypeople@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram at extraordinary_people_podcast. I look forward to hearing from you. And in the words of Saint Mother Teresa, not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. I look forward to our next extraordinary person, the first Friday of next month. See you then.